So the source that I used is the Substance Abuse Treatment Group Therapy Manual that SAMHSA put out in 2015. Um, I'm supposed to talk about two important rules that we feel that we would need um, to run an effective recovery group. I'd like to touch briefly on the wording of that. Um, in in the manual, it discussed how using the word rules can have cause some cultures to shy away. So some other suggestions could be like using agreements or guidelines or policies. This actually came up in the group counseling class that I had over the summer. We called them agreements for the most part, and it seemed to take less stress off of the rules themselves. Um, so I kind of see like where it's coming from. The two rules that I feel um, that are important to a successful group are confidentiality and also communication, specifically like what the client should divulge. Um, are the clients required to be vulnerable? Or is it only surface level interaction? Um, so establishing those agreements in the beginning can help to form those relationships throughout the 12-step process. The confidentiality is a big one. They sometimes they're not sure if they can share certain things because what if this person blabs outside a group? So having everybody together and discussing, you know, hey, don't talk about what we talk about in here. In some cases, clients may be court mandated, um, in which case the confidentiality part of it holds certain repercussions. If somebody talked outside of the group, then it can land them in hot water with the judicial system, things like that. Um, there's a lot of different things I think that make a successful group, but I believe it's the communication aspect, it's the confidentiality aspect. They kind of go hand in hand, and I think if those two agreements could be discussed, I don't see why not the group couldn't be effective. Once you have those two in place, it's pretty much downhill from there. Especially with the communication, people open up, they'll talk. Um, Even if you have the one grumpy Gus in the back of the room who doesn't like to share his emotions, um, communication is a powerful tool, especially when they start to relate to one another or they start to feel these connections, whether they're superficial or they're you know impactful. Um, but yeah, those are the two important rules that I think we should have.